Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got this machine man, Paul.
Moral people don't usually do, but I was just the money and the notoriety from these politicians and all. So he comes, come meet me. We got to straighten this out. You owe me. So I'm thinking, all right. So I put my 38 in my coat pocket and I drive over there because he was like a caged animal. I mean, because he didn't know, he thought he didn't control me. I mean, I worked for him. He paid me. I did what I was supposed to do. I did things I probably shouldn't do either, but that's neither here nor there. That's water on the bridge. But I go to see him and I kept my one hand in my pocket the whole time I'm talking to him because he had a federal case years ago, so he couldn't legally own a gun. But I knew he had an M1911A1. I knew he had that in a drawer in the office. He had the drawer cracked. Was he capable of something? Yeah, a caged animal, cornered animal. You don't know what they're capable of. So he starts out yelling, screaming, you owe me. And I'm like, dude, you lent me 25 grand when I bought the bar. I paid you back. If I owe you anything, I'll pay you for the equipment. I'll pay you for all the equipment. It's your equipment. And I'll give you per diem for the business, but I'm not giving you fucking, a ton of money for that spot. This and that. Oh, I did for you. I said, I want to fucking hear it, man. I said, you gave drug addicts hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy nightclubs, which I had to babysit. You gave fucking people that you never knew 50 grand to buy little fucking bars I had to babysit. I'm family. I paid you back, Then he's like, he goes, at that point, he's like, you own that bar. You're not going to be there 24/7. You don't know what I'm capable of doing. I said, yeah, I know what you're capable of doing because I did some of it. So I said, you're not shocking me. So yeah. I said, you're not shocking me. I know what we're capable of doing. It's not you. You directed it. Well, I got all this shit on you and this and that. I said the same thing. You got shit on me. I got shit. Hey, we're involved in the same shit. So you would have telling me, you're telling her yourself, I'm like, yeah. He was just trying to pull anything, anything, the father figure, oh, you this, you can't protect your business, this and that. And then he started threatening me again. And then I said, look, motherfucker. And then I clicked that revolver. You heard it. That's how it clicked. He heard it in my pocket. And he always coughed. And he kind of went white. And he's looking at me. And I said, look, motherfucker. I said, if anybody comes and fucks with my bar, if somebody's following me, somebody harasses me, my wife, if I think somebody's coming after me, I think you're sending somebody after me. I said, you're not going to be around to watch your kids grow up and protect your family. And he just went like that. And I said, this is the fucking last time we talk. And I said, I'm going to send you your money for the equipment. And I'll give you $20,000 for the per diem for the business, which is, I'd have to give him shit. I could just roll on out of there.
Yeah.
And I said, we're done. This is it. And I just backed on out of there. And that's the last time I ever talked to him, ever saw him. And I ended up sending him his money. I sent him his money by check because I knew how he operated, because we had serial numbers on all the equipment everywhere. And he could say, hey, he could put a lien against the equipment saying, here's all the serial numbers. He knew them because, and if I didn't have a receipt that I paid him for him, he would fuck me there. So I wanted to make sure everything was covered,
Yeah.
But that's not the end of it. 96. I'm running my bar. I think everything's clear. Don't see anything. Nothing's going on. I'm doing well. People from that business, I stopped seeing. Everybody knows me as this happy, jovial bar owner. No, to this day, it's kind of funny that people that follow me, when I tell these stories, they're like, "What?" They're like, "What? Paulie from the curb shop? What do you mean? They're like, what? Because they didn't. I never talked about it. My kids never knew about it. My oldest he'll be 30. When he was 14, I worked on a manuscript years and years ago, not the one I worked on now. And he found it in a box and he's reading it. He's like, is any of this, Dad? Is any of this stuff true? I said, well, it's somewhat, yeah, but my brother-in-law was his godfather. And he knew him up to 3 years old, but he has no recollection of him. He never met this man. I mean, we went on trips together. We did everything together. And then it stopped. We just stopped talking to that side of the family. So in 2000, I'm skating pretty good. I'm doing banquets and things, and politicians are coming in, the governor, the mayor, judges are hanging out. I'm buddies with everybody at a different level. It's different than paying people off. They like me. I'd have to give anybody anything. They like me.
Yeah.
I throw a party once in a while and comp stuff. So 2000, I was building a house, like my dream house. It was a 3,500 square foot house in Shrewsbury, and I was in an apartment waiting, and I get a phone call. I'm like, "Hello, this is Agent Smith from the IRS." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "We need to come see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock." I said, "What about?" She's like, "We can't tell you. We'll tell you when we see you." And I said, 685-2022. Click. She hung the phone up. Now, if you deal with lawyers, like if you call the lawyer, maybe you'll get them, maybe an hour later, maybe he'll call you back, maybe the next day. And
Yeah.
sometimes it wasn't 5 fucking minutes. My phone's ringing. It's my lawyer. It's like, "Paul, it's Sydney." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what it's about?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, they informed me they're going to drag you before a grand jury in Northern Virginia, or they're going to come talk to you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. He goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'll take B. They can come talk to me tomorrow here at 10 o'clock. I'm not going to grand." He's like, "You're right. You don't want to be up on stand." I mean, I've been to court in the past as a witness to things. I've been accused of things. I've never been charged with anything. So
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate. I've been very, very lucky.
This whole
But
time working, while you're working, are you paying any type of taxes?
I'm paying taxes. I'm paying taxes. I get a check. I get a check that takes taxes out. When I have my bar, I'm paying sales tax, property tax.
No, like when you're getting the 35,000 from the
That's a payroll check. That's that. I made sure I always showed it up. My account. I had a good accountant. He always says, show enough money to how you lived. And when I was making the 35,000, I lived in an apartment. I didn't really. My wife had a job, so we're making like 50 some. We had enough to survive, to live. When I
Yeah.
bought the bar, I stepped it up to save money to build this house. So I'm building this 3,500 square foot house in Shrewsbury in 2000. And she called. I said, "Well, they can come see me." She says, "All right, call and let her know." So he goes, "You want me there?" I said, No, I know what it's about. Same thing. I just did this. Back to the store. I just moved machines. I tried that. So they knock on the door, and I'm on the bottom apartment, with a slider because they're waiting for her house to be built. And she flips her badge, Aiden Smith, and the other guy flips his badge, doesn't say one fucking word. They come and sit down at the dining room table. My wife's across on the side of me. Like one guy that doesn't say anything sits down at the end of the table, has a yellow pad out. He's just staring at me with a pen. And then Agent Smith has things. She starts talking. "Well, we got these canceled checks from when I paid him for for the machines. She goes, "Oh, you're laundering money for him." I said, "Agent Smith," I said, "I worked for him. I bought the equipment. I paid him a per diem. It's all up and up. I wasn't laundering money. Did you get a receipt?" "No, I didn't get a receipt. It was fine. I'd paid him for the, I don't know what he said. That's what I paid for the equipment and all." "Well, we have you going in and out of these accounts, the Crown Vics, this place, you knew how much they're trying to, I knew how much money what he's doing." I said, "You don't know." I said, "Agent Smith, you don't know what I'm doing in those bars. I could be taking Q chalk for the pool table. I could be fixing something. You know what I'm doing in there. You got a camera in there?" And she's looking at me and she's like, "Well, you're doing this." I said, you deposit $10,000 in his personal account and you put $30,000 in his business account." I said, "His account, not my account. It's not my money. It was a business account.
Yeah.
Take it up with him." So she's just trying to see that I know. She knows I know more, but I'm not divulging that. I said, "Look, I moved equipment around. my, I just moved the equipment around. I went to the bank when you want me to go to the bank. I took people. I could fix some equipment around. I wasn't privy to
All this information.
all that, and that was my line. And I was sticking to it. So then she's like 45 minutes into it. She's like, "Well, we know you own the curb shop and you have 2 poker machines." She knew the whole layout of the bar. "And we know we're just us talking. We know you pay off to your regulars. It's just us talking here, and all." And I look at, and the guy's like staring at me, waiting for me to what I'm going to say. And I said, "Agent Smith, that's great." I said, "That's great. You think you know what I do in my business, but I'm not going to sit here and incriminate myself about anything that I do. I agree to talk to you about my brother-in-law, Sonny. I've answered questions. What else you want to ask about Sonny?" And then she asked again about my poker machines and me paying people off and hiding the money. And I said, "I'm done." And my wife's like, I was curt. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't rude. And I'm my rights. I said, I'm done talking to you. I said, I voluntarily agree to talk to you without my attorney present. I'm done talking. Anything else you're going to ask me, call my attorney up and I'll speak through him. Have a nice day. The guy closed his book up. They're mad because they couldn't trip me up.
Yeah.
You know, some people would get tripped up because they're, somebody 100%. Authority.
They open up.
They flip a badge, and I'm thinking like I had a lot of run-ins with police. I'm like, I've nothing. Like I said, a lot of my good friends were police when I owned the bar. I mean, I have nothing against that. They're doing a job, but you're not tripping me up, and I'm not going to incriminate myself. So they go, we're leaving through the back. They want to walk out the slider. I said, okay, but be careful. It's wet out there. So they leave. My wife was like, what the hell is that about? Leaving through the back. I said, they're looking around plain sight. What is there? Ming vase here? Is there Picasso? They're looking, anything they can see. So 2000, I think I'm done. This is it. I'm done. 2004, I'm at the bar. I get a phone call. Agent Smith again. Like, what the fuck? What this woman's like fucking around? She goes, we need to come serve you as a material witness for the United States government against Sonny Warner. I said, do what? I'm like, do what? Yeah. I said, she goes, we're going to serve you at 30 Burke, where my house is, the big house. And I said, no, come serve me at the bar. I'll save you a 40-minute trip. I'm always at the bar. No. I'm going to come serve you at your house. I didn't want her in my fucking house. Yeah. I mean, I had expensive furniture. I didn't want her to not justify what I'm making and how I'm living, You
don't even want them near the house.
I don't want them near the house. I don't want them coming. She's like, oh no, she kept insisting. What day are you home? I'll come serve you. I said, okay, I'll be home tonight, 2 a.m. You want to drive up tonight? I'll meet you there at 2 a.m. Oh no. I said, I'm here every day. I'm here 15 hours a day. Come serve me at the bar. Oh, okay. We'll see. She hangs up the phone. So I call my attorney up. He's like, oh man, you don't want to go down there. You don't know what they're going to ask you. I said, no shit, Sydney. I know what they're going to ask me. I don't want to be up on that stand. So he says, I guess it was true. He goes, you have 30 days when the feds notify you that they're going to serve you as a witness from some kind of prosecution or some kind of case. They have 30 days to physically serve you. I don't know if it's true or not, but it turned out to be that's how it worked. So I'm like, the days are counting down. I'm like, I lost like 15 pounds in 20 days. I needed to lose weight, but that wasn't a good way to lose weight, So like the 26th, 27th day, it's all over the radio. Sonny Warner copped the plea, it was like 21 counts down to 3 or 4, money laundering, tax evasion, blah, blah, blah. It was all over the paper, TV. It was all over the place. And I like had the sigh of relief. Like, man, am I done with this? I mean, is this it? I mean, and I never heard another thing about it. He went to jail. He did 18 months. And
even after he went to prison, you never spoke to him, nothing?
Never spoke to him. We never seen him. My son would see him and like my wife gets on Facebook occasionally. And we have some old pictures of like being on vacation, like Las Brisas, and videos of him, and he's at the wedding and he's at the christening of my son. He's the godfather. He's up, So we have these pictures, and he's like, it's kind of not funny. They don't know me in that life. And like you said, when you grew up being in the gangs, you assimilate. You have to assimilate to survive.
Yeah.
And you're not in that anymore. I got out. I mean, thank God I'm scathed. It just, one of the other guys I talked to asked me about why do you wait so long to talk about a lot of this stuff? I said, well, one, I still owned a business. I still had poker machines in my business. I still was racketeering and doing stuff up to 2016. The time elapsed where there's nothing. I've got audited. I've been audited over the years. They were pretty scary too, but never got not charged or anything. So I was very fortunate. I was very lucky.
Really lucky.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where
you could have got sucked in right to his case.
I could have got sucked in, and even like my co-writer on the book, Darren Hobson, he was like, when I tell these stories, like, how did you guys get away with that? I said, we didn't have cell phones, because now, I mean, this is in 1990, 96. Everybody now has a camera, you have a video, every recording device,
ring doorbell.
I mean, Banks had cameras, some restaurants, but not everybody. But I mean, it was like kind of the Wild West in a way. I mean, carrying a gun, brandishing a gun. I mean, it was wrong, but a lot of times to save my ass. I mean, thank God nobody called me on it or have to use it.
I know
Because
that whatever them two guys, you could have
those two
shot
guys,
them.
those two guys could easily pulled something out or came for it, and I had no choice to pull the trigger. Not something I wanted to do, but I mean, you don't know till it happens. But it was
Yeah.
like, was it fight or flight? One of those deals, like you're in a gang, you're being initiated. You got to try to deal with the situation. You're in the best you can.
Yeah. Now I try to help people, and I give people a platform so they can tell their stories and other people can learn by.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's not. I mean, it's nothing. I look like I didn't think back then that I was doing criminal stuff because when you get sucked, you're in it, and it's kind of the norm. I'm carrying a gun. I'm dealing with some degenerate. I mean, you're dealing with some degenerate, not everybody, but some degenerates, and sometimes you got to show people around. And I'm thinking like, it was a norm for that, but it's not. It's not the norm in life, and I tell my sons. I mean, I back them. Whatever you guys want to do in life, do the best you can. You get pulled over by the police, yes or no, sir. Be respectful. Um, I was sucked in. I was seduced by the money. I was drinking real heavy back then too. The money and being like going out with
Camaraderie,
yeah,
right?
camaraderie, going out with friends and like say a local senator would say, "Hey, Paul, how are you doing?" And people are like, "How the hell you know that guy?" So you get like sucked into that, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, but it's not yet. Like the time I had give a guy $100,000, I had $100,000 in the back of my car, cash, and you see TV. Oh, that'd be so cool to do. It's not cool. That's scary. I get robbed, get killed over that. Somebody knows I have the money in there. I mean, it's not, it's not worth all the money that I made. I mean, I have a story. I tell a story, and it's kind of like how easily somebody that I wanted to be on pay. I wanted to be in. I did. I wanted to be in law enforcement. I wrote it in my yearbook. That was my goal, and then it turned out the other way. But I was fortunate that I didn't get jacked up or do time. I mean, you did time. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I was
My
in the army.
norm was going in and out of prison.
That
That
was
was
a norm.
the
Yeah, that was a norm for
normal
you, and
thing. Yeah.
it's not a way to be. And some people are like, oh, I think that's so cool. No, it's not. It's not. Not looking over your shoulder. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. Couldn't say certain things on the phone. Had to watch who I talked to. Even family, you couldn't say things in front of the family like where you're going or what. You just what do you got to do tomorrow? I got to go to work. You don't say
You're
what you don't.
holding all this inside,
Holding all of it
right?
inside, yeah. And when I got out, it was a relief until the two times I was involved with the feds. But I'm thinking like I always said if I get through this, man, I just gotta raise my kids. And at one point when I finally before that deal, the end deal threatened my brother-in-law, my son was little. He was like they said about 3 years old, and I looked at his crib one night. I said, I want to be here for him. I don't want to be in jail. I don't want to be dead. It's
Yeah.
not the money. All the money I'm making it's not worth that. Some people are like, oh, you're crazy. That's not. It's not worth that. I want to be able to go home. I don't want to be locked up. You're locked. Who wants to be locked up?
It's terrible.
And it's not a
Terrible.
good way to be. I mean, the closest I was locked up was the Army, but I volunteered for that for 4 years. That was my bad. But jail's a lot worse. It's someplace I don't want to be.
Yeah,
And
prison's no joke.
no, and I watch all these things too, and all the people I talk to, and the things I've been on, and it's like it's a tough lesson. I mean, but you get it. Some people never get it. Some
I
people,
sat there and I begged God to give me a chance to get sober, and my prayers have been answered, and I got that demon lifted out of me,
yeah,
and now I live my life every day. It's a new world for me,
yeah,
and I just love doing what I do, and I'm
yeah.
going to continue.
That helps too. That's a hard demon to shake. I mean, I like under the bar all those years. You see people that are in the depths of alcoholism bad, and some people I would say, look, please don't come back. Not they didn't do anything bad. Like I didn't want to see it because they were that bad. I'm like, you're killing yourself. Literally.
And I've been there, sitting on the railroad tracks, trying to hold the cup still, drinking
People coming
vodka.
in, they're shaking, they're spilling their drink.
Terrible.
I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm like a prey of this poison. I'm like, I mean, but that's I had a lot of good times. There were a lot of good people came in for a couple of drinks and hung out. Michael Phelps hung in there for years, so I had a lot of good stories. But you have a few people that probably should have been drinking every day.
Yeah. Try to promote good things now,
Yeah. Be positive about everything and look on the bright sides. And I always tell people when people have bad times or whatever or worried, I say, everything's temporary in life. Whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, it's all temporary. You're going to get through it. It could be the worst.
100%.
It's the worst thing. It could be the worst thing possible, but you're going to get through it.
So now you got a book?
I wrote a book in 2017 called Amusement Only. It's a fictional account of my involvement in the business, and then I wrote a TV pilot and of a pitch deck called Machine Man, more true to what I was doing. That I've entered in a few contests, did fairly well. I had a guy from LA 2 years ago wanted to do it's like a shopping agreement, wanted to do something with it, but I just didn't. We didn't connect as far as what his idea was of mine. So, but my co-writer went to NYU and has a literary degree, and he's got 2 other manuscripts out right now, and he's being looked at right now by one of the big firms that buys material, of which I'm 50% of his material, which is kind of cool. So if he should get a deal, maybe I'll be kind of dragged along with him because 2 of his projects we're both involved in, and he has 2 separate ones on his own. So if it happens, great. If not, it's kind of like getting hit by lightning. It may never happen, but if it does, hey, great.
Yeah, I got a script that I wrote. I'm
Oh, do you?
working on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Based on your life?
Well, it's the same like yours. It's fiction,
Fiction.
nonfiction.
Yeah. I think you got to do that sometimes too. I mean, like the names I use aren't, you change the names, maybe a few locations because you can't have it too on point, and you don't want to, somebody mad at you or somebody coming after you. But everybody has a story. And when I was watching I think I saw you on with Ian, and I'm thinking like, man, you were involved in so much at a young age. And I'm thinking like, I was like kind of comparing myself like to where you were. I'm thinking like, I wouldn't even, and that wasn't even in my mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's amazing what each individual goes through, and they face. And I thought that when your story, I'm like, man, that is something else to get through all that and not
Before
be
21.
not being incarcerated the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. So.
Thank God.
No, but it was great. Great being you're in your pod. It's cool. You have a good story. Yeah, it's been neat doing these things.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh no, I appreciate you wanting me on. It's great. I told my son, I said, I'll talk to everybody. If they want to hear a story, I'll tell them a story. If they believe it, great. If not, hey, I'm just telling you what I know. That's all I can tell you. So
you're welcome back here anytime.
Yeah.
Get any more stories you could think of.
Yeah, I'd be glad to come back. I have 6 years of them. I just touched the surface of some of them. So
definitely, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, Bill.
I'll put a link for all your stuff in the description of this video if people want to check you out.
Sounds good.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
If you like this podcast, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this podcast, then start your own. Thanks. Thanks, man.
All right, peace.